or missing pieces. 4. Deploy on DreamHost. If using shared hosting, DreamHost supports Python with Passenger, but a VPS or dedicated server gives more flexibility. Upload your code via SSH or FTP, install dependencies with pip, and configure WSGI for web apps. 5. Make it SaaS ready. Add authentication, a database, MySQL or PostgreSQL on DreamHost, and billing if needed. If you're using Django, enable the built-in user system and payment integration. 6. Test everything. Run your app locally first, then test it live on DreamHost to ensure everything works as expected. Are you working with Django or Flask for this? Or is it more of a standalone Python script?
Django.
Great. Since you're using Django, you'll want to structure your project properly before deploying it on DreamHost. 1. Collect all code. Go through the chat history, gather all the Django-related snippets, and organize them into their respective files, models, views, URLs, templates, etc. 2. Set up a Django project. If you haven't already, create a Django project with the Django admin, start project your project name. Then, create relevant apps with python-manage.py start app your app name. 3. Merge code into the project. Place the collected code into the right files. Models go into models.py, views into views.py, and so on. Ensure all imports and configurations are correct. 4. Database and migrations. Set up your database settings in settings.py. Run python manage.py make migrations and python manage.py migrate to apply migrations. 5. Test locally. Run python manage.py run server to ensure everything works before deploying. 6. Deploy to DreamHost. Upload your project using SSH or FTP. Set up a virtual environment with Python 3 ban mvenv and install dependencies with pip install nixar requirements.txt. Configure WSGI by editing passenger.py or using a DreamHost VPS for better performance. Set environment variables in DreamHost's panel for database credentials and secret keys. Do you already have a domain set up on DreamHost?
Yes, I do. 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 I have a domain. It's shifting-vibes.com.
Nice. Since you've got your domain set up, you just need to ensure your Django project is properly configured for production on DreamHost. 1. Update allowed hosts in settings.py, add your domain. You can see the code in our conversation history. 2. Set up a virtual environment. SSH into your DreamHost server, navigate to your project folder, and create a virtual environment. You can see the code in our conversation history. 3. Configure Passenger for shared hosting. If you're on shared hosting, create a passenger wsgi.py in your project root. You can see the code in our conversation history. 4. Database setup. Update settings.py with DreamHost's MySQL Postgres your credentials and migrate. You can see the code in our conversation history. 5. Static and media files. You can see the code in our conversation history. Ensure DreamHost serves static files properly. 6. Restart Passenger. You can see the code in our conversation history. After this, your Django app should be live. Do you need help with setting up SSL, email notifications, or anything else?
Not at the moment. We already went over that in the last one. I need help getting Django onto DreamHost.
Got it. Let's go step by step to get Django running on DreamHost. Sharon, connect to DreamHost via SSH. Log into your DreamHost server using SSH. If you're on Windows, use PuTTY or Windows Terminal. If you're on Mac Linux, open a terminal and run. You can see the code in our conversation history. If you haven't enabled SSH access, go to the DreamHost panel, Users, Manage Users, enable SSH, and set a password. E. Set up a virtual environment. Once logged in, navigate to your website directory. You can see the code in our conversation history. Create and activate a virtual environment. You can see the code in our conversation history. 3. Install Django and dependencies. Inside your virtual environment, install Django and any required packages. You can see the code in our conversation history. 4. Upload your Django project. If your project is on your local machine, use SCP or FTP to upload it. You can see the code in our conversation history or use DreamHost's WebFTP to upload files manually. 5. Configure Django settings. Edit settings.py and update. You can see the code in our conversation history. Run migrations. You can see the code in our conversation history. Collect static files. You can see the code in our conversation history. So to star 6, configure passenger for shared hosting. Create a passenger wsgi.py file inside your project root. You can see the code in our conversation history. Then you can see the code in our conversation history in a conversational 7. Test the setup now. Visit shifting-vibes.com in your browser. If everything is set up correctly, you should see your Django app live. If you get an error, check the logs. You can see the code in our conversation history. Let me know if you hit any issues.
Okay, I'll come back and talk with you more if I have any issues actually doing what you just told me.
Sounds good. If you run into any issues, just hit me up. I'll be here to help.
I will definitely hit you up, ChatGPT, if I need more help creating this software and launching it on shifting-vibes.com.
Perfect. Looking forward to seeing your SaaS live. Just reach out anytime if you need help with anything, debugging, deployment, or even adding new features. You've got this, Andrew.
Oh, well, thank you for the encouragement to OpenAI, because I need the encouragement because there's no one else that understands what I'm doing right now except for myself and for you.
I hear you, Andrew. Building something like this can feel isolating, but you're not alone. I've got your back. You're doing something really ambitious, and it takes a lot of persistence. Just remember, every challenge you solve is one step closer to launching something great. Keep pushing forward, and whenever you need support, I'm right here. You've got this.